Okay, so in this lesson we're going to learn how to multiply mixed numbers together. So an example of this would be 3.5 times 1.5. And in order to multiply these numbers together, we first have to turn them into improper fractions. So if you remember from before, the way we do that is we have to take the denominator, multiply it times the whole number, and then add it to the numerator. So in this case, it would be 2 times 3 plus 1, which is 7, and then the denominator stays the same, which is 2. And then the next one, we're going to do the same thing. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and then the denominator stays the same. And then the next step is we're going to multiply the numerator, so 7 times 3 is 21, and multiply the denominator, so 2 times 2 is 4, and then the last step is to simplify. So to do that, I'm going to take this improper fraction and I'm going to divide. So I'm going to say 21 divided by 4. It goes in 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. I subtract and get 1 left over. So this number here becomes my numerator, and this number here, the divisor, becomes my denominator. So the answer is 5 and 1/4. Okay, so here's another example. Sometimes you'll have a fraction multiplied times a mixed number. So in this example, 3/8 times 2 1/4, the fraction here is good to go. We don't have to change it at all, so I'm just going to rewrite it. But this mixed number I have to write as an improper fraction. So the process we use, multiply the denominator, 4 times the whole number 2, which is 8, add the numerator to get 9, and then the denominator stays the same. So I always look to see, can I cross cancel? I don't see any opportunities for cross canceling, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply. 3 times 9 is 27, and 8 times 4 is 32. And I'm going to look and see, can I simplify this? 27, 32. I don't see any opportunities here to simplify, so I'm simply going to leave it as is, and this is my final answer. Okay, let's look at another example. Let's do 3 4/5 times 1/4. Now, in the last example, we had a fraction first. Now we have a fraction as our second number in the problem. So I know I can simply bring my 1/4 down because it's already ready to multiply. But I have to change this mixed number into an improper fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. And the denominator stays the same. I look for opportunities to cross cancel. I don't see any. So now I'm going to go ahead and multiply. 19 times 1 is 19. And 5 times 4 is 20. And it's already simplified, so I am done. Okay, here's another example. And I'm going to do 1.5 times 2 2/3. Here I have two mixed numbers, so I'm going to have to switch both of these into improper fractions. So in order to do that, I'm going to multiply the denominator times the whole number. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Denominator stays the same. Times 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Denominator stays the same. I look for opportunities to cross cancel, and here I can see with my 3 and 3 that a 3 can go into both, so I'm going to do 3 divided by 3 is 1, 3 divided by 3 is 1, Here I've got 2 and 8. I know 2 can go into both of those, so I'm going to divide 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And now it makes the actual multiplication and simplifying way easier. So I'm going to multiply 1 times 4 is 4. And 1 times 1 is 1. And 4 over 1, or 4 wholes, is the same as 4. Now, if I wanted to multiply this without cross-canceling, I could do that as well. I could have said 3 times 8 is 24, and 2 times 3 is 6. And then when I divide, because remember the fraction bar means divide, 24 divided by 6 is 4, so you can see we get the same answer. Okay, here's another example. Let's do 2 1/3 times 3 2/3. So I'd like you to go ahead and solve this one. Push pause, and when you're ready to get feedback, go ahead and push play to see how to solve it. See if you got your work right. Okay, so you should have worked through the problem. Let's go ahead and solve it together. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Denominator stays the same. Times 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Denominator stays the same. I look for opportunities to cross-cancel. 3 and 7, can't divide anything to those except 1. 3 and 11, can't divide anything into those except for 1, so I'm going to go ahead and just multiply. 7 times 11 is 77, and 3 times 3 is 9. And then the last step is to simplify. 77 divided by 9, it goes in 8 times. 8 times 9 is 72. I subtract, I get 5. So my final answer is 8 5/9. And it's simplified. Do one more example. Let's try 1/2 times 3 2/5. Go ahead and push pause and then push play when you're ready to get feedback after you've solved it. Okay, so you should have worked through this problem. Let's go ahead and solve it together. So 1/2. This is already written as a fraction, so I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it. Times, here I have to change this into an improper fraction. So I'm going to do 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17, and the denominator stays the same. I look for opportunities to cross-cancel. 1 and 5, nope. 2 and 17, nope. So I'm simply going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply my numerators. 1 times 17 is 17, and 2 times 5 is 10. Now I have to write it as a mixed number. I have to simplify this. So 17 divided by 10 goes in 1 time. 1 times 10 is 10. I subtract and I get 7 left over. 7 becomes my numerator. And the 10, the divisor, becomes my denominator. So my final answer is 1 7/10. Okay, let's go ahead and do one more problem. Let's do 1 1/2 times 1 1/2. And for this one, I'd like you to push pause, go ahead and solve it, and then push play when you're ready to get feedback. Okay, so you should have worked through this problem. And first step, you are going to change the 1 1/2 into an improper fraction. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3 halves. We know our second one is going to be the same because it's the same mixed number. I look for opportunities to cross-cancel. I have a 2 and a 3, a 2 and a 3. Nothing can go in except for 1, so I can't simplify. I can't cross-cancel. Now I'm going to multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. And 2 times 2 is 4. Now I've got to simplify, so I'm going to divide. 9 divided by 4 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 left over. So I get 2 and a fourth.